Welcome to this workbook video tutorial, and this is a tutorial that will go into detail about the planning section where you can create your resources for your lessons. So I'm going to log into Workbook using the demo teacher account, and once I've logged in, I'm going to go to the plan section. Now the plan section's here, which is the place where you can create your resources and organize your resources as well into folders or subject folders. It's going to be a biology lesson, so I'm going to click on biology. And there's already a secondary K-12 biology folder there, which I'm going to go into, and that's where my lesson is going to fall in. I'm going to click on add lesson, and this will show me a page where I can start to create the lesson. Now I'm going to put the title of the resource here. It's going to be Introduction to Cells. That heading is there. And I am going to click on the toggle full screen mode button on the editor so it takes up the whole screen. Just going to add some space at the bottom so I can see everything. And I'm going to start typing my resource information. So I'm going to put the simple instruction at the beginning. This is going to be a video resource, so they're going to watch a video and there'll be some questions underneath about the video resource. So the instruction is going to be, please watch this video and complete the questions below. And now I'm going to add the video resource. I'm going to use this YouTube video called Introduction to Cells with the Amoeba Sisters, a really informative video about cells, and it's intended for K-12 or secondary students. So I'm going to copy the web address and I'm going to enlarge the editor by clicking on the burger button there, and I'm going to use this button, the Insert Edit Menu button, which will open up the menu where I can put videos, and I'm going to paste the video web address, the URL, in there. I'm going to click Insert, and as you can see, the video has been inserted. Just going to check that that works okay. Seems to be absolutely fine. And if I wanted, I can enlarge the video, make it bigger, or make it smaller. Okay, so that's fantastic. Now I'm going to start by writing some questions. Question number 1 is, what is the difference between a prokaryote and a eukaryote? And I'm going to use a table cell for the students to write their answers in. But I'm going to click on this down button here next to the table button, and I'm going to insert a table, just the one cell, which is a bit easier. I'm going to use that to make that a little smaller, and the students will be able to write their answers in there. Next, I am going to add question number 2, and that is going to be, what is the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell? And going to do exactly the same thing. The down arrow next to the table button, insert a table, just one cell. Going to make this cell a little smaller, and there's that. That's absolutely fine. Okay, now question number 3 is going to be a little longer. Now this question is going to involve more keywords. Question number 3, explain each of the words below. Write at least one sentence for each explanation. Okay, now I would like to use a slightly larger table with a few more cells. Now, instead of clicking on the down arrow where I can easily choose the number of cells, this only goes up to 8 by 8. I'm going to need a little more, so I'm going to click on the actual table button. This will open up a full dialog. I'm going to keep 2 columns. This is where I put the columns, but I want to have 11 rows. I'm going to add a border. So the border width will be 1 unit, 1 pixel there. And I'm going to click on Insert, and that is my table. I'm going to make that a little smaller. Perfect. And I'm going to put the headings for the table, so the keywords are going to go here. And as you can see, this cell width has enlarged quite considerably, but don't worry, it adjusts automatically. So now I've put keywords there, the explanations are going to be here, and that has automatically adjusted. Going to make these bold as their headings, and I'm going to put the first word here to be a organelle. The next word is going to be B, cytoplasm. C will be Golgi apparatus. D will be endoplasmic reticulum. E will be ribosome. F will be cell membrane. G will be cell wall. H will be vacuole. I will be mitochondria. And the last one, J, will be chloroplast. Okay, so those are all the words here. It's going to reduce the size of this, and just going to make this blue, just so it stands out with the students. Going to pick that blue, and that is the end of the creation of that resource. And I'm going to want to share that with the students now. So I'm going to click on Teach. And I'm going to teach that to, let's go to group 5, which I think is all the students. Now this is the simple Teach button. You can go to the Teach section over there, but this is much quicker because it's directly from the lesson resource. And that will be able to access all your classes. This is group 5. I'm going to click on share, and that should copy that resource for all the students. Once it's done that, we are literally ready to go, and that's about it. Now, as a student, I'll be able to see that resource and access my work from my account. So if I log in as a student or as myself, demo student, and which is the same account as the demo workbook website, I could log in and I could go in there, and from my home page I should be able to see the first lesson at the top there of most recent lessons, because it was the most recent one that was shared. I can click on that, and that should open up the resource, and I'll scroll down, and that's it right there. Now the start button, which stays on the screen, allows me to open up that resource so I can start to put my resources, start to put my answers. So I'm going to click on start, and that's going to open up the resource. Once I've finished, I can click on finish to save it, or I can click on cancel to not save anything that I've done. But I want to save it eventually. But I'm going to open up the screen, make it full screen, just like I would be able to if I was a teacher creating the resource. I can play the video to get the information I need to write down the answers. And let's assume I've watched the whole 9 minutes and 38 seconds. Let's assume this would be maybe a 30-minute task in the classroom or at home for homework, if it was a flipped learning activity. I could spend the next 20 minutes after I've watched it filling out the answers. So question number 1, what is the difference between a prokaryote and a eukaryote? So I would write something like prokaryotes have no cell or no membrane bound organelles and have no nucleus. Eukaryotes have a nucleus and have membrane bound organelles, something like that. And for the next answer, I could put something like animal or plant cells have chloroplast, but animal cells do not. And I'd probably want to write a little bit more for both of the answers if I was a student, something like that. Now moving on to the keywords, I would write something like organelles are the parts of the cell like the nucleus or the mitochondria, something like that. I probably want to write more, but as you can see, as I was typing in that box, the box was enlarging, so the width of that cell was increasing as I typed. And I can continue to type and it will automatically adjust. So the students would have no problems putting all their answers in there. Now, once I've finished with all the answers, I'd go back, click on the toggle full screen mode button. It will go back to normal size. I could just double check all my answers there. Click on finish. And that would save my work. I could then click on submit to let my teacher know that I've completed my work and it's ready to be marked. And that would be all. So in this short video, I've just gone through the logging into Wurkbuk, and creating a resource using the editor, sharing that resource with students, and I've shown how the students would be able to go into their account, see their work, and write answers on that resource. Hope that's been really helpful. If you do have any questions, write some comments below, or you can contact me via the Wurkbuk website.